We're here working on the econoline, and sadly, I discovered that the engine that's in it is locked up, like super locked up. I've actually broke 2 wrenches trying to get this thing to crack loose, and it's not having it. But luckily, see back there, I got the spare one. Spare one is not locked up, has compression. I've dropped the drive shaft out of it thus far, but I wanted to crawl up underneath this thing real quick and show you what it looks like, because it's kind of cool that it's a little itty bitty transmission. It's a 3-speed. There's not much to it, but it literally hangs. There's just one bolt cast into the housing of the transmission, and it literally just hangs from one spot. It's kind of cool. All the linkage is all external, so before I dropped that, I wanted to let you guys check it out. So here we go. Bam, here it is in all its rusty glory. There's a little itty bitty trans, see? I can't get a very good view of all this stuff. But here's all your shifter linkages. This is for your clutch, right, y'all. These are your 2 levers for gear selection. And then up there is literally all that holds the rear end of this transmission in place. A little itty bitty drive shaft. And what I'm gonna do, for convenience sake, because I do think this engine has to come out the door, so we're gonna go ahead and pull the trans, because it's only like, I don't know, 6 bolts tops, and some cotter pins. So when we jump back on here, that will be out, hopefully. Alright guys, well, with a little more brute force and time than I had hoped, transmission is out. That super easy thing I was going to do turned out to be a super pain in the butt, but it's out. And I also have the other engine on the stand. I'm gonna get her all cleaned up. Let's check this thing out. First and foremost, looks like we may have evicted a tenant. The cotter pins were all locked up in here, and I decided it was going to be easier to take off these bolts. This one instantly snapped off, so it turns out I was wrong. I went ahead and cut the cotter pins out. No biggie. I don't know why it fought me so hard. I'm going to assume that the input shaft was super seized up in there, but it took me more time just to shimmy this thing out than it did to actually remove the rest of it. So that's where we are. We'll check back up here in a little bit. Ooh, you know what time it is. The engine's coming out. Update before this thing comes out. I pre-prepped to cut the exhaust the rest of the way off, just in case that was going to get in the way. Went through and double checked any plumbing, wires, choke cable. Got my chain on already. Everything on this has fought me. I originally wanted to try and pick this thing up back here. Broke that bolt, almost broke that bolt. Yeah, the motor mounts are different. 3 of the 4 bolts on the motor mounts broke. And other than that, I think that's it. This thing is about ready to come out, hopefully. Knock on rust. Yeah. Okay, so admittedly, I've never pulled an engine out of a passenger door. So, hiccup number 1, looks like front end's gonna have to get jacked off. The front end is gonna have to get jacked up and the wheel pulled off. And we'll get that cherry picker up in there a little better, hopefully. Alright guys, so maybe a little bit more embarrassment here. I think it's going to come out now. What you missed even after jacking this up, so I get the cherry picker and everything in there, still wasn't long enough to get the engine. So I literally double checked everything again, and I just took the chain and I manhandled it and I yanked the engine off of its motor mounts and I scooted it just enough over that I can the cherry picker on it. So hopefully this thing's about to come out. So here she is, a nice straight 6240 that's super locked up. I'm gonna guess it's the original one that was in this. I don't necessarily know myself, but remember the bell housing was full of mouse crap and all kinds of other stuff. They got in the clutch as well, so that's garbage. Almost every single bolt I tried to remove on this thing broke. There was a few things I was gonna try and nab off of it for backup, but upon touching it, I don't think I'm gonna reuse not even a single part off of this. The motor mounts, which were different, I was gonna reuse. All the studs broke off of those. The new engine has a generator instead of an alternator. It's pretty easy to swap that over, so I'm gonna do that. That's about it. And I can run you over and show you if you can see it or not. This engine has two little studs for the motor mount, and then obviously generator, manual choke, and then over here just got single stud, electric choke, and bam, alternator. Other than that, same engine, a little newer, much better shape. Hoping for the best of luck with it. And then as far as the interior, boom, she's empty. This will probably be the last video on this thing for a while, because I'll end up going through and like sweeping all this out. I'm probably taking a wire wheel at least to the outer edges, shooting some fresh paint on it. So I'm going to put gaskets in there. Most of the bolts broke, so those will need replaced. This brace right here could use a little bit of attention underneath. Almost all these wires, or at least the ends, are trash. Same thing with the fuel lines, all the coolant lines. So while the engine's out, I'm going to buzz through and hit on that stuff, and that's not stuff really worth recording. That's just a little tedious stuff, a little filler. But yeah, that's it. Next time you'll see this will be all cleaned out. Probably not completely painted. I'll probably just paint on the edge, like I said. And I'll probably be putting the engine in. I'm gonna need help doing that because that was a super pain in the ass. Luckily, I'm relatively strong. I literally I grabbed the chain with both my hands, just he-manned this thing over like 6 inches so I could get it with the picker to get it out. But that's it. Not only for this episode, but the van for just a wee. As always, thanks for tuning in. I've gotten a lot of comments on this van. I'm glad that there are some people just as excited about it as I am. I love this ugly, rusty, beat up thing. And I cannot wait to hear it fire up again. So thank you guys for tuning in. Again, like, subscribe, shares always help. So if you flip a few of those my way, it's greatly appreciated. Thanks guys. Deuces.